welcome here to the newest edition of the Dolphin Dive, exclusive to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, here on campus at LeMoyne College, we're at Dick Rockwell Field and here with head coach of the baseball team, Scott Cassidy. Scott, how are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, happy to have you back here. And Scott did the right thing today. He gave me one of these hats. I did not bring mine, but they're very nice. I like it. It's one of the best things I've gotten from LeMoyne so far.
Glad you enjoy it.
Absolutely. So, speaking of good things from LeMoyne, we are here this week, a couple days ahead of the continuation in the postseason to the Super Regional. So bring me through East Regional 2. You had a game against Queens College and then 3 against Goldie Beacom, and just what your takeaways were.
Yeah, we came out of the gates. We were hitting. We were hitting the whole weekend. We came out of the gates against Queens and we had a really good game. Some clutch hitting down the end and down the stretch, some good base running, and we were able to pull off a tight game to get into the winner's bracket, which paired us up against Goldie. Goldie's, they're a good squad, and they had 35 plus wins. They beat us twice earlier in the year to start the season, actually. So we knew we were getting when we went in there. We played a really solid game. We got a great pitch game from Sam DeGeorge, who went complete game and really shut them down, which actually helped us even the next couple games with bullpen use and stuff. But so we ended up going to the championship game, and then Goldie came out of it, so we had to play him again, and knowing the tough games that we were going to have, and we had a battle that first game on Saturday. Unfortunately, we couldn't take the victory on, so we had to come if necessary on Sunday, and you know, we just played a good game. Both teams did, really. You know, it was a back and forth game with hitting and scoring early, and then we held on late at the end. We had some really good performances with the bat all weekend. Nevins and Roden and Brody, they kind of carried us offensively throughout the weekend, and our pitching stood up when it had to.
And you mentioned DeGeorge and what he was able to do with his complete game. What have you seen out of him all season that he was, going to be big in that moment?
You know, he doesn't seem to let the moment get to him, so he just goes out there. He kind of attacks every game the same way. He's a strike thrower. He trusts a lot of his fastball. His fastball moves a ton. He's got a good off-speed pitch to kind of balance that off, but he's usually a heavy fastball guy. And he just challenges hitters, so we know he's going to go at him. We know he's going to have to make them earn their way on. And he did that, and he was throwing pretty hard the other day. Probably the hardest I've seen him throw in a while. And he was just getting it by him. And he was challenging, getting it by him. And I just think that the way he's been pitching all year has been the same way. He's sitting on a 1.5 ERA, 7-1. I mean, it's pretty incredible when you think about it.
And you mentioned Goldie Beacom at the beginning of the season, that you had seen them and had some adversity there. When you saw them later on in the season, 35-win team, what about them was the same? What had improved from that first go-around?
I think what they do really well is they're never out of the game. They trust themselves. They're kind of similar to us in a way that they trust that they can come from behind. They don't get frazzled. They have some good arms that throw strikes. They have a really good hitting team. I think that top 5 in their lineup can really get on base. And some guys can make things happen. They have one guy with 43 stolen bases. So they're just an all-around balanced team, which makes them tough to beat. And I think we kind of compare to them pretty evenly, I would say, if you look at both of our teams. But I think we had a little bit more of the power numbers this year, and we got some clutch hitting down the stretch.
You talk about stolen bases. You tried to steal second, got out late in that game. They tried to do the exact same thing. Such a tight game. It was 4-3 for a while, and then we see you break up to get out to 6-3 in that final game against Goldie Beacom to move on to the Super Regional. But then they came back and made it 6-5. Like you said, they're never really out of a game, but neither is LeMoyne. Just bring me into that back and forth kind of seesaw, and that there was that 4-3 kind of hold for a long time. Then the bats woke up, and then so did theirs right after.
Yeah, I mean, it was a battle, and once we got ahead by 3, at that time, Eric had been pitching out of the pen, and he had just pitched fantastic. Like, he gave us 3+ innings. I probably maybe should have gone to the pen a little bit earlier because he was probably getting tired because I put a lot on him there.
Yeah.
But he was just pitching so well, and he got a couple guys on base and got 2 outs, and I think he's going to get him again. He made a good pitch. The kid made a good swing on it. But at that time it was like, all right, we need 4 outs, so let's go to our guy out of the pen that can shut the door, and if we're going to win this, we're going to win it on his arm. So we brought Jet in, and that was the big strikeout to end that 8th inning that really kind of gave us that confidence going into the 9th. We just got 3 outs to win it.
This team had seen some adversity early on in the NE10, and then you also saw some positive moments, and then it broke out to really showing the prowess of this team at times, that you were just elevating your game throughout the entire season to 30-plus wins as you go here into the Super Regional. What have you seen out of these guys? Is it what you expected? Is it what you, when we look at that iceberg and we see the tip out of the water and then so much under the surface, has that started to show more on the surface now?
Yeah, I think early on when we started the season, you know, we had a mix of young and veteran players that were playing together for the first time. And, you know, we were kind of trying to find our identity. We had some guys that we were moving around the positions, and you know, at one point we were 15 and 15, you know, and then the guys just kind of settled in. And I think that the series against Franklin Pierce right after we lost the Florida Southern showed these guys that they can beat anybody at any time. And to beat Pierce 4 times in a row, it's impressive because they're a really, really good team. So that weekend, I think, kind of started the springboard for us to just go on knowing we can get it done against anybody. And then going into this regional, outside of the 2 losses that one day in the NE10, I would say we were probably the hottest team in the region. So hopefully we can just keep it rolling.
And when you get that opportunity to, I mean, you made it so far within the NE10 and you got to play host, you know, so to have that and then get picked as one of the at-large opportunities for it, what was it about the resume that you felt like, you know, the NCAA saw for Division II to give you that opportunity in the East Region?
Yeah, there's multiple different categories that they use for the regional, and I think the biggest one that we've had even last year and this year is our strength of schedule. We schedule a really tough schedule. We schedule some PSAC teams early in the year, and the PSAC's always really strong. So we were able to get some wins against some really tough teams early. And I'll be honest with you that our side of our division in the NE10 was very difficult this year. Like, we had a lot of good teams. I think 4 of the 6, maybe 4 of the 6 were over 30 wins. So that's going to do our strength of schedule again. So I think that's the big thing, but we were also able to win those, and we had a great winning record against 500 better teams. We played really well. So I think when you look at the full body of work, you know, they actually have one of them that's an RPI, and I think we were 2 or 3. And then D2 performance indicator, I think we were 2nd. So in the region. So I think there were so many different variables that came in that made it seem like even though somebody may have 2 or 3 wins more than us, but the people that we played in our full body of work was what got us in.
And when you look at, you know, I mean, this is, of course, you need to be able to hit, you need to be able to pitch, you got to field right, but it's also baseball has that chess game side to it. When you're playing that chess game and making some of those decisions, what can you say about the element of that this season specifically, of doing the things that you need to do, you know, talent-wise, but at the same time being smart about your chess game pieces?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job with that. I mean, I'm fortunate enough where I have some really good coaches with me in the dugout, and I really make a lot of my decisions with a collaborative, you know, mindset where I like to talk with them about what their opinions are before we make moves, and I think it's good for us to be like that because I think they're knowledgeable, they're into the game. So I think as a whole, we've been making some really good decisions. And obviously you make a decision sometimes and it backfires, that's part of the sport. But, you know, overall, I think what our mindset is to put the guys in the best position we can to succeed. And I think we've done that for the most part this year, and they've just been taking off and putting it on their shoulders. I mean, they're the ones that do it. You know, they're the ones that play the game and get it done. We just try to make sure we're giving them the opportunity.
What has surprised you in a positive way this season so far?
I think it's how close they've become. I've been here for 13 years now. We've had a lot of different teams, and you know, there is a level of closeness, and I think the last 4 or 5 years, the culture has just been getting better and better and better, and our senior leadership this year especially took in the young kids and made them feel comfortable right away, and they're so close this year that, like, that's the reason I think when something goes wrong on the field, they don't panic. you know, they know that the next guy can get it done. If they make an error, somebody else will get it done. If you don't pitch well, somebody else will, or a hitter will pick you up. I think it's pretty remarkable to see that. You know, I've been on a lot of teams in my life, you know, even playing, and you've always had those, you always kind of have a couple silos of kids that do their own thing, and I don't really think we have it this year, which is, it's pretty impressive to me.
So as you step forward into this, we look at SNU. They're in the NE10, but you haven't faced them this season. What have you seen from Southern New Hampshire going into this matchup that you have over the weekend?
That they're really good. Yeah. They always are. They're super well coached. Scotty does a great job over there coaching them up, and he's got such talented players. They got really good starting pitching. They run the base as well. They've got guys with power. I mean, they've been the best team in the region really for, you know, I don't know, 5-6 years in a row with them and Pierce, and you know, so it's going to definitely be a battle. You know, we have to click on all fronts to be able to take them down, and I think we're doing that right now. So it'll be exciting. I think at the end of the day, and I know obviously I'm biased, but I think this region, this super region, is going to be won by one of the two best teams in the region.
Yeah, and you look at, I mean, you mentioned Nevins, Roden, and Keniston and what they've been able to do with their bats, especially recently. Just what you could say about the power that you bring into this matchup.
Yeah, we've been swinging it really well. You know, we've been hitting a lot of long balls. I think we got 60+ home runs on the year, and they're not just home runs; they're clutch home runs. You know, we've been getting some unreal, you know, game performances, especially as of late. I mean, Brody, a freshman, hit 3 home runs in a game the other day, followed up the next day with another home run. What can you say about the at-bats that Dewey and Nevins have been giving us this whole weekend? I mean, it feels like sometimes I wonder why the other team's pitching to them in certain situations, because they've been coming up so clutch. So, yeah, we've been fortunate enough to get a lot of the long ball that has been game changing. You know, and you don't like to rely on that. You don't like to have a team that relies on the long ball. You want to be able to do the little things and play small ball when you need to, which I think we can, which we did at the end of the game with the push bunt to score the final run of the game the other day. So kind of balance it off, but it's nice to know that you got some guys that are going to come in the lineup that's got some pop that can be a game changer.
You know that in the background, we know that Lemoynesville Division I is July 1st, 2023. This is the last time with the NE10. It's the last time in Division II. Baseball knows all about it because baseball and women's lacrosse up until 2007 had that in the MAC. So is that fact that this is one more run in D2, this is one more time to represent the NE10, does that mean anything to you?
It does to me, because I think it's a special run that we're making, you know, and it's the farthest we've gotten in Division II to this point, going, well, you know, we were a game away from the World Series in 2012 when we first made the transition down. So it's come full circle where we're, you know, a couple games away from it again. So it's a special thing for me because it's a great way to go out of Division II, showing what kind of talent we have, and I think it also can, you know, show the next level that we're a talented team about to take the next step, and we should be a team that should be competitive, hopefully, right out of the gate.
You said that obviously the alumni are excited because that's something that baseball has been used to. Have you gotten an influx of kind of the support that you typically get in the postseason, and now has there been an influx of like, Coach, let's make sure that we leave an exclamation point?
I've gotten a lot of communication from a lot of different alum, all positive, you know, with the support of this year, and just like you said, like, hey, you know, finish with a bang, get back to Division I where we've been. So it's been super fun to see the people coming out that are both excited for what we're doing now and what we can do and what our future holds. So it's you know, it's the Division I news came out, and that was news. You know, that's the big news, and we were right in the middle of the playoff push. So I sent a correspondence out to the alum about the news, and I also put on there, like, you know, let's jump on this horse now. Like, we're rolling here. Let's pay attention to what we're doing right now with these kids. So it's been a fun time.
Final note: you're the only team in Lemoyne still in the postseason. Is that a place of appreciation, and kind of do you feel the weight of that at all as you are the team that's continuing on here in the postseason in the spring? Number one, and number two, what do you think keeps the guys hungry after everything you've already accomplished?
Number one, it's weird being the only team because our lacrosse teams are always playing, and we expect them to be playing all the time because they're just so good. So it's a little strange not seeing those guys kicking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. I think the fact that we're still playing and it's different now. Like nobody's here on campus. It's almost like we're the only ones here. It's kind of like a pride thing. Like, no, this is it. We're the last remaining team playing this year. Let's hope we can go finish this off and continue. So it's been an exciting time. They seem to be just happy. School's out, so they don't have to go to class. And it's almost like a miniature pro ball feeling that they might get now, where it's wake up and it's baseball. It's not go to class, do some studying, get my exam ready. It's baseball. It's we're gonna play. We're gonna have some practice. They got lift later. They got to get ready. So it's a pretty exciting thing.
And you think they're still hungry because of the pride side of it? Is what you're saying?
I think they're hungry just because they're baseball players and they're gritty and they just want to win. And that's what this is what we play all year for. To get to this point. Like when we lost the first game, the Goldie in the championship Saturday, we said to them on the bus, if you would have told us that we were going to be playing for the regional title for one game, winner take all, 3 months ago, we all would raise our hands and say, heck yeah, let's go do this. And we were in that situation. So this is the culmination of what we play for. I mean, the best you can get is to get to the World Series and hopefully compete for the title. We're one series away from getting there.
It's a beautiful thing, and this weekend is going to mean a lot, and I'm hoping that we can talk about LeMoyne in the World Series. It seems very poetic with the way the season has gone thus far, this being the Dolphin Dive on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring LeMoyne Baseball and head coach Scott Cassidy. As always, sir, appreciate you.
Thank you very much.